The last count that I had about a year ago, there were 5,800 sets left around, and I think that was around 43,000 individual tiles.
Well, one local man is on a mission to document and preserve the city's historic street tiles. WDSU anchor Gina Swanson explains why they are disappearing and how you can help to save them. Her story is all new at 10.
They are pieces of New Orleans history that get stepped on every day, or even worse, in certain parts of town. They are walked by, torn up, cracked to pieces, and they are disappearing.
We've lost 700, almost 800 sets.
It's not as pedestrian an issue as you may think.
6,000, 6,400 individual tiles.
When it comes to these little tiled letters,
17% of the tiles we had before Katrina are gone in just 10 years.
Mike Styborski.
The last count that I had about a year ago, there were 5,800 sets.
Is all about the numbers.
That was around 43,000 individual tiles.
That's what's left of the city's signature street signage.
It started before Katrina, but after Katrina, crews came in, they ripped up street corners. I mean, they had to, they really had to because of all the damage that was done. But nobody really stopped to think about, okay, these are 100 years old, these are antiques, these are part of New Orleans heritage. We should probably do something to save them. They just came in, tore everything up.
His obsession prompted us to count our own tiles as well. Styborski knows only a small percentile of the city's population even cares about the issue.
Nobody's going to pay attention to the street tiles, and for 100 years, nobody really has.
So he's taken it upon himself to photograph and catalog each set across the city. But his efforts are not just visual, they are also tactile. Just by feel, he can tell the style, materials, and the manufacturer.
There's the St. Ghislain tiles, which came from St. Ghislain, Belgium. There's a style that's very similar from Welkenrath, also in Belgium.
Even the size is an indicator.
They're 3.5 by 4.75, I think, and then there's a standard 4 by 6. Most of them are 4 by 6.
He has an encyclopedic knowledge of the city's tiles.
The American style tiles, which are the ones that people think of when you mention iconic New Orleans street tiles, it's the ones with the pinstripes.
The signage began popping up as New Orleans emerged as a major mercantile hub. In the 1800s, the port was one of the largest exporters of cotton textile, but we were importing these tiles that came with the emergence of sidewalks and a street directory.
I think that's really how it came about, was that it wasn't any idea by the city, it was just some contractor trying to get an edge over his competition. Then they all did it.
With such a rich history, Styborski says the tiles deserve better. No royal treatment here for this street sign. And at the corner of Dauphine and Piety,
Replace the power pole, and they put it right through the, I mean, just, Lord Almighty.
and this street project designed to improve accessibility, but Styborski worries when it's all said and done, the neighborhood may be missing part of its historic identity.
I kind of wish that if people see a street crew working on a corner, if they know there's tiles on that corner, people should go out, take pictures.
But he doesn't want you to be hostile.
Don't confront the crews, but just take pictures of what's there before they do the work and then after they do the work to make sure that the crews are doing the job right and putting the tiles back.
And with all the recent attention, his efforts have not been futile. City leaders have taken notice.
Got contacted by the city archaeologist. I didn't even know New Orleans had a city archaeologist. And I sent him the street list of what we still have, or what I think we still have, and what appears to have gone missing.
The street corners you walk by every day for Styborski are actually the intersection of our history and culture, and he's making every effort to keep it that way. Gina Swanson, WDSU News.
All right, Gina, thank you so much. And for more information on the historic street tiles, there is a documentary. It's premiering later this month. It's called Mosaic City. It gives more information about the iconic signage and efforts to preserve the tiles. We will have this information posted for you online at WDSU.